Hi everyone, I hope you're doing well. I want to just try and keep this brief and focused on the points that I want to make because I could probably talk about this for a long time and I don't want this to turn into a rant. So I think, regarding gun safety, specifically in the US, where I think it is more an issue than anywhere else in the world, um, I think it's ridiculous that we have as many shootings as we do in the US because there are other countries, most other countries, that do not have this problem. When you compare the number of gun related deaths to other countries in the US, the numbers are terrifying. There are people, I think, who are afraid to come to the US because of how often we have shootings. Shootings anywhere, in a school, in the grocery store, it doesn't matter where you are. And, you're not always going to have the time to defend yourself. Let's say that you go to the grocery store and you bring a gun with you to protect yourself. And all of a sudden, someone just walks in there, pulls out a giant, powerful gun, and you happen to be the first person they shoot. And they take a couple other people down with you. Now, you who believed in guns and brought a gun with you, believing that more guns makes things safer, had zero time to react because before you knew it, there was someone standing in front of you, pointing a gun at you, ready to shoot, and you didn't even have time to get your gun out. Now you're dead, and all you were doing was going shopping. That can happen, and I'm sure it has happened in this country because we have shootings so regularly, it's insane. So I want to address some of the arguments that I've heard in favor of, I mean, basically zero gun regulations. I'm not even saying that guns need to be completely criminalized, but there needs to be something done. We need to do whatever other countries are doing that's working because I don't know if the issue is that there's just too many guns in the US as it is, that even if you made them illegal, people would still have them. But I feel like even in that case, it would be better than what we have right now. It is way too easy for anyone to have a gun. And the issue, I think, is that a lot of these people don't even have a history of criminal activity. If you're talking about a school shooting, for example, I heard someone say, well, we should have armed guards outside schools, or teachers should have guns. In that instance, let's focus on the armed guards example. What if there is a teenager who is dealing with a lot of mental health issues and has parents who are extremely in favor of guns and talk about it all the time, talk about, all the things that are wrong with the world and how they hate everyone trying to take their rights away and things like this. They get inside the head of that teenager and create a very cynical mentality, can sometimes cause depression and ways of thinking that would be like depression even if you weren't clinically depressed. And they can have a complete breakdown sometimes, and that is what happens. I'm not just making this up. This happens. And because their parents have guns, it isn't hard for them to get their hands on guns. I mean, there's people who collect guns. And I'm talking about not just, your tiny little handgun. I'm talking about rifles that can shoot multiple bullets at a time, not just a rifle that's like a hunting rifle. I mean, all sorts of guns people collect. And a lot of the people who are actively in favor of guns have a lot of guns around the house, and their kids can just do whatever they want with them. They may think that there's some level of protection and safety, but their kids probably know more than they're aware of, probably know where the bullets are, how to get in. People are not as safe as they think they are. And a lot of these people probably don't even think about safety. They probably want their kids to know how to use the guns so that if there's a break-in, they know how to defend themselves. These people likely teach their kids how to use guns. That would not surprise me. In fact, I think I've seen examples of that. So think about this. You have armed guards outside of a school because more guns makes things safer, right? They're standing there, they're ready to shoot any potential shooters because, you would be... Nobody ever thinks that it could be your neighbor. Nobody ever thinks it could be your friend. It's always some, I don't know, person who seems like they don't have a life, they're homeless, they're just your typical cliche criminal. That's usually what people picture, and they think that'd be easy to spot, easy to stop. Not the case. Not at all. It could be a student who's never done anything in his life, taking his parents' gun, and he could even snipe out the guards from a distance. That's the scary thing about guns. They don't need to be right in front of you to cut you or stab you. They can be really far away, hiding in, like, I don't know, a tree or something, and they can just hit you right in the head if they have good aim. Even if they don't have good aim, There's a lot of space in your body. They could shoot you in the foot. They could shoot you anywhere, even if they miss. And what are you going to do? You don't even know where they're shooting from. Like, then you have to try and hit them back and hope that you don't get shot. People shooting at each other, I don't know how anyone could possibly think that that's a safer situation than nothing to shoot each other with. But anyway, I'm going to continue with the example. So they shoot the guards, then they go in the school. Think of how many people they could shoot before a teacher in a classroom, for instance, who has a gun, would be able to get it out of wherever it's being kept and shoot the perpetrator. Tell me how this is better than just making it harder for people to have guns in the first place. I think less guns means less deaths. And I think that that has been proven time and time again. What other arguments have I heard in favor of guns? I mean, that's pretty much it. The argument that more guns means less deaths. I think that's... There's people who say that are not using their heads, which is the whole issue. I think people get so angry. And you know, the issue is that people, they're not directly affected by these issues. A lot of people, I think, who are in favor of guns, they don't even think of it as a possibility that they could go to the store just to get regular groceries for the week and just get shot randomly by a lunatic. That they had no time to prepare or defend themselves. If they had a weapon, they had no time to get it out. Do you even know how scary it is to be in that situation when there is someone with a gun, you know, shooting people, and all you can think to do is hide? If you try to be the hero, you are risking your life. It is so, so dangerous. People try so hard to make it seem like guns aren't as dangerous as they're made out to be. Like it's just, I don't know, propaganda. The propaganda is the idea that guns are the solution. And the proof of it is that it only happens in the US. This is not an issue other countries have. The United States has so many people who are obsessed with their right to own. I apologize for my dog. She's angry about something. I think there may be a neighbor walking his dog or something. But anyway, I'm going to wrap this up. She's very cute. She's a tiny little angry thing. She's the same breed as the dog from The Wizard of Oz. She's a little Toto. And her name's Daisy, just because she inserted herself in the video, at least the audio. Anyway, I think I pretty much covered it. I don't really think that the gun argument goes that deep, which is why it blows my mind so much that it's still going on. I feel like it can be really knocked down in a few sentences. It's not that complicated. It is as simple as we need to do something to make it so that less people are dying. None of this thoughts and prayers bullshit. None of this people should have had guns to protect themselves bullshit. You are bending so far out of your way, trying so hard to shoehorn guns as a solution to problems that you aren't even using your head anymore. You aren't actually thinking about what makes sense. And there is a video that I want to recommend that I've seen before, but I just rewatched it recently, and I was stunned by how much I had forgotten. Because when you have time pass and you watch the same thing a second time, you realize that you hear it in a different way. And incidentally, the video is called Healed People Hear Differently. And I'm not saying that I was unhealed the first time I heard it, but it's just that there are new things in my life that I am applying that information to. So this video is about, I don't know, 30 to 40 minutes. It's not terribly long. I'll put a link to it in the description, and I think it's very helpful. Regarding the gun issue, the only reason I picked this topic is because I kind of just needed to get it out there. Because if you are someone who has been affected by this, if you know someone who's been killed, if you are, you know, maybe you have friends or family members who are obsessed with guns and talk about guns and how people are trying to take their guns away all the time. That's the last thing I want to address. No one is trying to take your guns away. Like, you know, there are people who are trying to make guns safer, but, you know, the gun people are winning. You know, I want to make that very clear. I don't see any laws changing anytime soon. I don't see the problem being fixed anytime soon. So if you are worried that people are taking your guns away, by all means relax, unless you own them illegally, which is, you know, unlikely because it's pretty hard to buy a gun illegally, I think, in the US, because there are so few regulations revolving around guns. It's way too easy. You can relax. You know, you probably are gonna have your guns and they're gonna be in your family for generations, and you can chill out. So stop complaining about problems that don't exist. The problem that does exist is that people are regularly dying because of guns. So you are part of the problem, but you yourself are not a victim of a problem. So stop pretending that that's the case, um, and chill out. If you have ever experienced a situation where a gun saved your life, I promise you that is purely coincidental. Okay? It's like far and few in between how many times people die from guns. Not even a comparison. So yeah, I just wanted to make this video just, for those people, although I don't think it's going to change their minds. They're way too hard-headed and angry, and they think that people who say things like what I'm saying are just uneducated and I don't know, wimpy, but these people are just completely insane. Don't even indulge their arguments. And that's what I wanted to really make this video for, is people who know people like that. If you have someone like this in your family or friend circle, don't change your mind. You're right for thinking that guns are dangerous. You're right for pushing for things to be safer, and don't let anyone get in your head. I gotta go take care of my dog now because she's whining. But I hope you have a great rest of your day or night, and I'll see you next week. I post every week on Tuesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Time, and I added live streams to my schedule. I'll be going live every Friday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. So you can hang out with me there if you want to get to know me better. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. And I also appreciate every like, comment, and subscription, because I think YouTube tries to screw me out in the algorithm sometimes. I don't know if it's the titles of the videos or what I'm talking about, but there are times where I know videos perform terribly and I didn't do anything differently, so I appreciate all the help I can get. I gotta go. Thank you.